Ladies and gentlemen, the director of the Mercury Theater and star of these broadcasts.
Hello, Eric.
We know now that in the early years of the 20th century, this world was being watched closely by intelligences greater than man's, and yet as mortal as his own. We know now that as human beings busied themselves about their various concerns, they were scrutinized and studied, perhaps almost as narrowly as a man with a microscope might scrutinize the transient creatures that swarm and multiply in a drop of water.
You acid erotic,
get your finger out of my face.
It's gone.
What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Come on.
That is not paid for by them. That is paid for by the people of Detroit.
You might be qualified, ML.
I'm not qualified for this job.
Let me tell you something. You want to go right now? Okay? You want to go right now, Al?
So we had a carefully crafted intro geared towards Halloween with Orson Welles, broadcast, Mercury Theater, War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells. And Mark, who seems to be as fearless as John Houseman.
That's what that was.
It was, but I think there was an opportunity for you to dub in a little bit of Orson Welles, and you were afraid.
No, you know what? It's a time crunch.
You couldn't touch.
What time did you send that to me yesterday?
I will send no intro before it's time. That's what Orson Welles said.
Wow.
Actually, I think
sometimes people run out of it.
I like that you're taking your clothes off to start the show.
A little striptease, huh?
Nice.
Oh,
yeah, right on camera.
And speaking of organisms that swarm and multiply in a glass of water, is Sean Windsor here with us from the Detroit Free Press and the Carlos and Yawn podcast.
Look at him. He's going already. I'm neutral here, Mark.
And we
You've
have
got the Michigan.
Wow.
Mike's got the state. Our guest, of course, is state.
Kalina Nice. Kalina Nice. I always get that wrong.
No, it's Nice.
What?
I was going to say.
How long have you known me? My whole life.
You keep changing your name.
No, it's always been Nice.
You're like Prince. For a while, I only knew you as a symbol.
Well.
But
Do your parents pronounce it that way?
Nice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn it.
How long have you known them?
I've known them since they were Hoffman. So I go way back.
All right.
I used to play volleyball with Kalina's mother in East Lansing way back when Michigan was the dominant college football team in the state. So that was a very, very long time. I think Fielding Yost was still the coach, and Dr. Anderson was still the team doctor.
We'll see how he sounds next Tuesday.
And so we have Kalina here, who now not only is one of our special guests on the show and a sometimes co-host. She has gone off to start her own podcast, inspired by Sean's moonlighting as a podcaster. She said, like Sean, I am going to start a podcast that will be of no interest to people in sports. Now, of course, hers isn't geared towards sports, so that's...
Hey, we sometimes have sports on. I had the rugby team. Well, they're going to be on next week. I recorded it last week. We have some sports.
More defiance from the Nice family.
So supportive.
That's why it's not
Did
nice. It's nice.
Did you write these down? I mean, is this a script? Is this like a football coach kind of writing out the first 10 plays? So you've got the first 10 Sean jokes?
Cyrus.
You've got a couple of them.
Take us out. Cyrus?
You going off a script or no?
I'm just glad you're here, Sean.
Really?
I'm always glad you're here. I wasn't
supposed to be here?
I didn't know if you were going to be here.
Oh, because of last week? Yeah, but that was mostly off the air.
Zeus and I were having that conversation. He would be surprised if you were here. I said, I would be surprised if you weren't here.
Damn it, it does say niece in my phonetic spelling.
Yeah, we're still on that.
So he could hear all that last week.
Sure. Yeah, it's just like he's in the room. So could ML's mom.
Yeah.
No, she was sitting here. And before we go any further, I should apologize to...
My mom said...
I should apologize to ML's mom.
My mom said...
it's nice of you.
Nobody wants to hear somebody get... Sorry, Mike.
She now refers to you as Sailor Sean.
No, yeah. Like she hasn't heard that from you. Nobody wants to hear their child spoken to, that way. So I apologize for that, for sure.
No, the first time somebody spoke to me that way, it was my mother.
No, but that's her right. Right? But when you're a parent...
so now you're saying my mom's a foul-mouthed shrew?
Look.
He walked into that one.
Wow.
No, that's her right to talk.
Sorry, Mom.
She can talk to you however she wants to. If you...
Like a sailor? Now my mom talks like a sailor?
Even if you understand your child's done something that you don't agree with, you still don't want to hear that.
Oh, so now my mom's ashamed of me?
You know what I mean?
Oh, that's probably true.
Mom, Are you out there listening? Mom, can you give us a call at 288-9070?
But let's just-
That's Butterfield 89070.
I'm very sorry, Mrs. ML. Very, very sorry for that. But just real quickly, yes, Mike and I are pals. I've been getting emails all week. Folks on Twitter. I was at the
Making news here on the Soul of
I was at-
Detroit.
So last Tuesday night or Wednesday night, whenever the Pistons home opener was, I'm walking back
Big
at
sports guy, are you?
yeah, right. At halftime, I'm coming back to my seat, and I get stopped by an usher because there's some rappers there, and it's crowded. And I'm trying to go in, and she said, "Here, I'll help you." And she looks at me. She says, "Oh, I like listening to the Soul of Detroit." And I said, "Yeah, we try to have fun." And she said, "Well, it sure doesn't sound like it lately." This was just a random interaction, and I said, "No, it's all good."
That's
so,
my fellow vendors sticking up for me.
And then a few days ago, I'm on the pier in Hermosa Beach, right out on the Pacific.
Wait, she didn't take a side. She didn't say because of him.
Obviously, there's only one person who'd bring down the quality of this podcast.
Well, that's true.
That's sort of understood.
So I'm out on the Pacific on this pier, and with a couple of former free pressers, and we're just walking coffee before I go to the Lions-Rams game. It's in yesterday morning, or no, Monday morning. Sunday morning, whenever the NFL game
They play on
plays their
Sundays.
games. Yeah,
they
Sunday
have
morning.
for years
Yeah,
and
you're-
years.
And a guy walks by, and
Still
he's
with the
like,
sports
"Oh,
department?
oh, hey, I know you. I listen to the podcast
Really?
out
in California?
You know, he also read the Free Press,
Mm-hmm.
but he didn't. You know, he wondered a little bit too. So I feel like folks were a little worried about us.
I
Mike.
wonder.
Yeah, and you know, I ran into Kelly Stafford. You know what she said? Detroit sucks.
Yeah, she was on the
what
sideline
she said.
hanging out with Lions fans. By the way, the SoFi Stadium
What-
where the Rams play, just
What day was that
of
again?
LAX. It was Sunday, right?
Was it over the weekend?
It was at least a third full of Lions fans. It's unreal how these folks show up.
Yeah. So that's all not particularly interesting, but I'll just tell you.
I thought that was interesting. Somebody. in
No, by all
California-
means, let's talk about your campaign.
No,
You have a listener,
No,
and
seriously.
and he's apologizing. and
Nobody
Let's
came
get
up.
back to your campaign.
he's trying to have a kumbaya moment.
No,
Nobody-
I'm just saying
I want you
it's
two
funny.
to kiss each other.
Nobody came up to me and said, "Hey, I listened to the Sean and Carlos podcast," and
Oh wow, that was a shot.
just nobody came up to me and said they enjoyed it or they listened to it or
But you're not
Why,
on that.
why would they?
precisely.
I mean, why would they? But they do come up to me for that. But
Yeah.
I'm kind of.
Oh, they do? Oh,
I'm on that podcast.
We
so,
missed some
you know.
stories.
Things were quite tense this last week. It was fun. I enjoyed every second.
But
of it.
I was trying to remember, Mark. Maybe you can help us out or help. Yeah, help us out, please. How much of that was on the air? Because I thought most of it was off the air.
Oh, most of it was off. The really good stuff was off the air.
yeah.
But there was a lot of tension during the show.
Well, I think it was the last couple of weeks. At least, I didn't know that necessarily, but then the feedback from folks
Oh,
saying, "Are
hey.
you guys okay?"
Listen, our numbers have been very strong, and people, for whatever reason, really gravitate towards those shows. But I did have somebody come up to me over the past week and say something that I wasn't going to bring up, but since we're there now,
bring it up. Why not?
But okay. So this guy from Rome, his name is Francis, came up to me and he said, "Don't worry, Sean, he's going to burn in hell."
No,
And he had a Wolverine helmet that somebody gave him a couple years ago.
really
Yeah,
okay.
he's from South America. You may know him as you know, the Pontiff.
Yeah.
He really thought you were out of line. And I said, well, you know, we're all about forgiveness in the Catholic faith, aren't we, Father? And he said, we make exceptions.
You know, it's funny because people do come up to me sometimes and talk about the podcast at sporting events, which is always sort of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have folks that know both Mike and I that come up and want to talk about it. And
Ooh, what do they say?
well, they love that
If they know both of you, that's
if they know both of us well, they feel like somebody's got to tamp him down, and that's usually the feedback I get. And
it's
they
his show. He's allowed to be a wild man.
no, but he's like that everywhere he goes, and that's fine. And
Yeah, exactly.
Mike
It's him.
is so quick-witted and so smart, and
About that, but
Here it comes. Here's the setup.
no, no,
Okay, go ahead.
no. So,
Yeah.
Get 'em
so
hard and
a lot of people,
You know I love you, but
a lot of people's tendency. I remember when my wife, the first time my wife met him, and she loved the humor and all that sort of stuff. But you feel a little. Some folks don't want to get in the ring and dance with him. You know what I mean? Because he's quick, and I sort of oddly enjoy it, and I think some folks that know us like that.
yeah, when people see Sean and I sparring, they say it looks a lot like a championship prize fighter. and that big heavy bag that just hangs there. Yeah.
No, I would agree with that. In fact,
Yeah.
I had dinner with
very useful.
I had dinner with Tammy Audi, who's an editor of the Wall Street Journal,
now
longtime
you're
free
name
press.
dropping.
I'm going to do what you do. A longtime free press writer, really fabulous writer. But anyway, she was.
You didn't get the name of the vendor.
She was talking
They're
about.
just a little person.
I thought this was interesting, Mike. Seriously, if you can just hold on for a second. I know you want to hear yourself talk.
I just want to say thank
But,
you to my fellow Unite Here 24 members.
She thought the reason it worked was that because you're quick, obviously quick, and all that sort of thing, and I'm slow talker. Don't seem all that bright and smart and kind of naive.
said
But
seem.
then I kind of come around with a surprising zinger, and you're like, oh, where'd that come from? And to burst the bubble a little bit.
I think that's great.
or the ego.
No,
Can we just say that?
No, this is good, and I think
So she thought the chemistry. That's why the chemistry worked.
No, I agree, and I think we're getting pretty close to that point where the zinger will happen while we're still on the air.
So
Usually, I get a
what's
call. I get a
interesting-
call on my ride home saying, "And I meant to say, and so's your old man." And then the phone goes dead, and I'm like, "You got me."
I've never once
You
called
got
you on the ride home. Usually it's the other way around. But Mark, here's what's interesting. All right,
Yes.
fine. I'm
Yes.
going to stop being
Oh, we
nice.
got to the interesting
here's
part.
what's-
Yes, there we go.
Here's what's really interesting, right?
Yeah, let's do
He
it.
can't. Look, man. All of a sudden, you're aware of time when somebody else is talking.
I just changed the show's
what I mean?
slogan to.
You don't hear. You
stories
don't
not
feel
well
your own
told.
vocal cords vibrating. And you're like, oh wow, there's actually a clock out there in the universe, and I'm aware of it.
It wasn't my vocal cords. It was whatever is activated by snoring.
Usually you're
That's what I
usually you're so wrapped up in patting yourself on the back.
Well, no,
you're
you-
oblivious to everything else.
You don't let anything go. I mean, that's a very good quality, but it's also sometimes you need to let things go. Do you
In any
agree?
case-
do you agree? Do you like that Sean and I are psychoanalyzing you?
If
I'm not really doing that.
I am.
if you're watching us on Facebook Live,
He's writing something down. This is great for the people that are listening.
Mark just made the list. Just watch.
Why?
yourself.
For what did I do?
You wore a Michigan shirt.
I don't forget anything, and you just made the list.
In any case,
no, you don't.
to the folks out there wondering, no, Mike and I, we're pals. We've been pals forever. Sometimes we just get a little,
Lovers quarrel.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the accuracy of anything you just heard there, but Sean is still here on the podcast, basically because I don't what actually what.
Why? Yeah, no, that's a good question.
Actually,
Why did Zeus not think I was
Are you
gonna come back?
available on Tuesdays starting around noon until the foreseeable future?
I have class. I do go to school.
And you're cutting class right now?
No, I'm on break right now.
You're on break. Okay. You're not busting out to have a smoke behind Shettlers like
No,
people I used to go to school
Hey, what
with?
break is this?
fall break. I don't know.
Really?
I'm
Is
gonna,
it fall
whatever
break?
they
I don't
give
know.
me, I'll take it.
Yeah, no, I believe me. I'm all for that.
And there's no-
Halloween break.
Yeah. I wish they would have given it to us next week, but I think that would have been a little dangerous.
And there's no assignments,
yeah.
right? Like they can't give you an assignment over break because you have to be able to relax.
I mean, they can, but it won't be due
Oh, yeah.
until tomorrow. Like they have to wait until the break is over before it's due.
Yeah, college is awesome now.
Yeah, because you're customers. You're not students.
Yeah, you send your kids and make money off of them.
They make a lot of money off of
Yeah,
these
they
kids.
do.
Have any
No,
of your
you-
professors volunteered to work in the cafeteria? Did you see that
Oh, that's
story?
a great
No
question.
one working there. Like there's not a single person working in the cafeteria right now. I feel so bad for anyone living in the dorms. Like there's only like 2 of them open.
And the food is so good in those cafeterias now. It's unbelievable.
But that's interesting because the story you're referring to is that there was a call for volunteers because they couldn't get workers. But you're saying nobody is
It's a
volunteering.
reckoning, baby.
No, no one's volunteering. These poor kids. Like they still don't have late night. So these, when I was in the dorms last year, we didn't have late night. We just had the 3 meals, but they don't have any late nights. Not all the cafes are open. They're just kind of
Why would you ever work there?
no. Are you
What?
kidding me?
The worst part is
why
now
not?
in the cafeterias that are open, a lot of the kids now have to cut their own meat. So when it's put on their plate,
No, we got the joke.
they can't.
Yeah, as if it's that fancy.
I thought the silence might
Cut
be a
it.
hint to you.
yeah, no, it's a signal to keep going. Keep fleshing out the joke.
Yeah, Sean and I are not friends.
Why did Zeus think I wouldn't come back?
Because it was very tense. There's a lot of screaming.
But I was more yelling, but that's okay.
Zeus told me later, he says,
Are
like,
you rolling your eyes?
Yes,
Said,
I rolled your eyes because I said
You rolled my eyes?
screaming versus yelling.
Oh, you know.
he told me, he said, I don't think Sean will be back because he's kind of a biatch. That's
It doesn't sound like Joe.
No, it doesn't.
It does sound like him.
No, it doesn't sound like him at all.
It doesn't. You know what?
Not-
It
not-
doesn't. The only difference between that and the real zoobs is I can't replicate the sound of speaking while building an igloo.
What?
Or some sort of snow fort, or some sort of outdoor, contraption, because he is the ultimate outdoor guy.
He is, yes.
This is a fun intro or fun beginning of the podcast.
Are you going to ruin it now? Why?
No,
Yeah,
because
so
no, I just wanted to, before we start talking about the campaign, I just wanted to know that of how enjoyable this has been.
And just like that, you shit on it.
yeah, and I'm sure we'll be rewarded in the ratings for this tea party we're having right now.
You know,
Well, that's why I just shit on it again.
Mike did text me. Well, I don't want to give too much away, but he did.
What?
He did make mention but more people were interested when we were going at each other, and he's like, he had
Hey, I've
he has
seen-
mixed feelings about it. He appreciates the listeners. On the other hand, rubbernecking is right because that amounts to rubbernecking. Basically,
Sean, I've seen a lot of fights in my day of people on the air. That was one of the more vicious ones off the air, your fight. It was.
no, it's like a couple
It
of
was
brothers.
quick.
It was a couple of brothers going at it.
No, I know, and that's
Well,
fine.
you know what was- you know what-
Here's the thing: we're all adults. You're going to disagree with people. You're going to yell at people.
No,
It's
but
fine.
here's what disappointed me in myself the most is that I could feel it coming, and I didn't get out of the room quickly enough. And I was trying to.
Well, then when you tried to, someone yelled at you for leaving.
And well, we don't need to rehash all that. But no, but what really disappointed me was that you know how when you can feel it bubbling, and I'm old enough now to learn just to go. And that was my instinct because when I was younger,
Well, you'd already
I wanted
gone
to
3
sit there.
times while you were here, but I thought
I
that was
wanted
the
to sit there.
prostate.
You know what? Look, not all of us are 50 with a 20-year-old's bladder.
I'll just here's and maybe
You know
we
what I
should
mean?
maybe we should leave it here. I'll just tell you this: my mom said she had never seen Charles Kuralt that mad before. That's what she said,
Did she?
and now he's on the road.
Did she really
With
say
either
that?
family?
No,
I felt bad because your mom's been a secret sort of, she's been on my side in a lot of this, and I feel like
yeah.
I totally blew that last week.
no. She's still a fan. She's like, the thing about me is I've embraced every loser I've ever found, and so it's just part of a series.
So she's the one in the family with empathy.
No, she's the one who's not. She doesn't particularly hold anybody to any sort of standard of conduct.
Oh, so that's what it is. Okay,
That's why she was
that's
willing
your
to come on the
definition of
show.
empathy.
That's where she's willing to come on the show.
I see.
But this is a good place not to mention any of our sponsors because they want to get as far away from this as possible. But you know what? Maybe you can be the person who takes this spot. We are now personally selling sponsorships on the Soul of Detroit. If you would like to sponsor this show, would you like to have a commercial on the show? Would you like us to help promote your event? You would be surprised at how reasonable our prices are. In fact, just make us an offer. You can send an email to mlsoulofdetroit@gmail.com if you would like to advertise your business, your product, perhaps apologize for some sort of psychotic episode. You can do it right here on our airwaves. And we'll be proud to take your money as you somehow unburden your soul.
That's it?
I was going to write it down, but I didn't want to get criticized, so I just kind of riffed.
Wait a second. Come on. I'm not going to criticize you for that.
What, for trying to?
No, you should write down for sponsors and that sort of thing. It's the Geek of the Week that I want you to riff on.
I'll tell you what.
Come on, man. The rules aren't not that complicated.
This is like when I was talking to Fox Legal and we were fighting over something, and I said, I will work to journalistic standards, not to legal standards, because I'm a journalist, not a lawyer. And they said, as long as you work here, you will work to our standards. And you don't seem to understand what those standards are. I said, they keep changing. And they said, no, you're not paying attention. I said, okay, I'll tell you what.
There's a pattern here.
I'll tell you what. I said, then send them to me. Send them to me so I can study them so we can get them right.
It's pretty simple, man.
What did they tell you? 'Cause
And
I
the
love
lawyer
this part.
said, how dare you ask me for you, blah, blah, blah. And this was right before Christmas. And they were losing their mind. I didn't know what to call it at the time. Now I call it a Windsor. But she was just going nuts, just absolutely unhinged. And then she started she took a breath. And I said, hey, you know what? I wasn't trying to offend you. I said, we take training modules for ethics every year. We take training modules for business practices. I said, it makes sense to me that we would have a training module for our legal standards. It would be written down somewhere. And she calmed down and she said, okay, here's the deal. She's like, we don't write them down. And I said, what? She said, Yeah, because if we didn't follow them and we got sued, they would show people that we wrote it down, we didn't follow it, and we'd lose the lawsuit. And I said, oh, so now you want me to follow standards that are not written down that seem to change all the time? She said, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, so you won that argument. I mean, that's pretty obvious.
It didn't really play in my favor.
Well, but they didn't write them. I mean, how can they tell you to do something? They didn't write it down. They don't exist.
Mark, the rules
they
here
keep
are
changing
a lot simpler.
because
Please.
one time
Right?
I did a story and I said, how's it look? And the law department said, they're a public figure. You could make something up and you'd be fine because it's an actual malice standard. I said, whoa, whoa, whoa,
What?
whoa, whoa.
That's not, that's
I said, what
journalistic.
we want to do is we want to make sure we get it right and everything looks good. He said, oh, yeah, no, it's great with that, but don't worry about it. Then within a couple of years, I don't know what happened, but then it was like, you can't do anything that doesn't have blah, 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 blah. And I thought, damn, our standards overnight got really crazy. and now
Why do you
they're
think they changed
unreasonable.
it?
Maybe somebody got sued in another market. Maybe there was somebody at the corporate level who said we got to, make it harder to get investigations on there. I don't know. But it was a standard that is unknown in journalism. And in fact, there are many, many stories that I would have gotten published at the Free Press or anywhere else in the journalism world that would not get on the air at Fox 2. And I passed some stories up because I knew I could not meet their legal tests, such as the head of the smart bus system not going to work and using a smart facility to store his personal vehicles. I had that nailed dead nuts, and I knew it wouldn't pass muster with Fox, so I didn't bother
Why?
pitching
I mean,
it.
what would their problem be with that story?
Every story that you did had to have a public record connected to it. So if you had we could not have done the text message story under those legal standards.
Really?
And one of the stories that I did do that met legal standards was when Bob Carmack wore a wire for the FBI and basically set the trap that Gabe Leland stepped into with his bribery offer.
Wait, Gabe Leland bribes somebody?
Actually, he was.
That's news
he
to me.
was, He was. He pleaded guilty to misconduct in office. If you want to be accurate.
Well, that's news to me too.
Very
But-
facetious.
But anyway, they said that I could not put that story on the air until a federal lawsuit accusing Gabe Leland of that was filed. Now, this is a story we worked on for months. We had it before everybody else, but until the allegations were contained in a public record, I could not report it. So this story I worked on for months was an exclusive for all of 15 minutes because once I reported it, the Detroit News and the Detroit Free Press and other news stations ran to the courthouse computer. I mean, they log on from their desk, pulled up a copy of the lawsuit, and then reported almost precisely what I had reported. So that was, I just said that was right around the end where I said I'm going to work to journalistic standards, not to
Can I ask you this?
standards.
In your opinion, are they more cautious than? I mean, you already said that the Free Press would go forward with it. Are they more cautious than, say, other TV stations?
They're more cautious than they themselves were just a couple years before that. Now, I don't know what the standards are now,
Yeah, but when you were there,
but I'll just tell you
it
this.
sounds like they were overly
Rob Wolchek
cautious.
has my deepest sympathies because it's hard as hell to get a story on the air.
All right, let me break it down, Mark.
And it's not because of the local folks. The
Let me
local
break it
folks
down.
are aggressive as hell. This was just at some point the corporate
Sure.
Yeah,
law
that's-
department
No, I knew that.
was nuts.
That's great. That's a great, beautiful soliloquy. Let me break it down. The rules here.
Seemed more like a colloquy, but
Okay, fine.
I'm not
The
from
ru-
Ann Arbor.
You were probably still colicky.
No, but I'm curious why the journalistic standards would be, or the legal standards would be different between two entities that are trying to do investigative reporting.
Well, this is a journalism question,
Sorry.
so I'm going to take that one. So what happens is
Yeah, thank you for shaking your head over there.
in journalism,
I don't blame you.
and Clean, if
God.
you want to jump in, feel free. In journalism,
I'm embarrassed.
if you
You should be. I mean, well, no, you shouldn't be.
We had a guest speaker the other day, not to toot ML's horn, who was like, "Oh yeah, like I used to work with ML," and now I'm like, I'm gonna pretend I don't.
yeah. That guest speaker will soon have their head added to Mount Rushmore. That's
list.
God.
one of my many proteges. But the journalistic standard is typically if you have a not for attribution source, you have to have two independent, credible sources who would have knowledge of the information.
You're not
And you
answering the
report.
question.
No, I am answering the question.
Yeah.
This is the journalistic standard.
You're not. No, that's not the question. What? So,
But doesn't Fox?
One is going by the law that's set, right? Whether it's local, federal, whatever. The other is a company, a private company, setting its own rules.
That's
And
kinda
they're
what-
two different things, and that's it.
You're right,
You don't
but-
need to say anything more, Mike.
But there's
you're
no
kinda-
law that covers. There's no state, federal, or local law that covers journalism standards. That's
But you're kind of getting at my point. Why
Exactly. Oh,
why
thank
is
you.
why is that? Well, no, or not my point, but my question. Why is that company more cautious than other ones?
We'll get to why the host doesn't answer questions later in the show in the feedback section. But I was just trying to help you out there. A
No,
little.
I just don't. I'm just trying to figure out like why would they be more cautious than say another company? Are they a target? Do they get sued a lot?
I don't know. I presume something happened. I mean, you have to understand that at that time, and perhaps today, I don't know what's happened in the last almost 2 years since I left, but Fox has a ton of local stations and a ton of news operations, and so they could be that one of their stations lost a big lawsuit. It could be they were threatened with something, and so they decided to tighten things up. I don't know. And for what it's worth, when I started there, their standard was perfectly reasonable. It was very good. It was very solid. They tend to be a little more conservative with those things, which is not a bad thing. You want to be incredibly careful with these things, but it kind of went from to holy crap, you can't get anything on the air.
That's your favorite word, by the way, isn't it?
What's that?
And
I said,
Is it
No.
is it because it says Fox and people want to attack Fox or sue Fox because it has that name?
maybe
on
so.
it?
This whole thing is my fault. All I was trying to say
I'm
is the
I'm
rules
sorry.
are simple. My suggestion is be yourself unless you're reading something, then write it. That's it.
I'll stop being curious.
It's that simple.
no, you were right. You were wrong.
No, be your, yeah. No,
I'll be
no.
curious about
Riff and do your own thing, but if you're reading for a company that's paying us money to keep this podcast on the air, yeah, write it down.
I appreciate the broadcasting tips.
No, it's not a broadcasting
My
tip.
colleague who thinks that state, local, and federal authorities set the rules for journalism. So,
No, I said for legal.
I knew what you meant.
Exactly. I didn't say for journalism. I said for the. Yeah.
perhaps if you had written it down, you would have gotten it correct. Just a notion.
That's
Kalina, take it away.
What did
What's
I
going
say?
on with the Exposure podcast?
He doesn't let anything go.
There's no nudity, by the way. Creepers out there, there's no nudity on that podcast.
Yeah.
Why are you even saying that?
Well,
It's
'cause
called
of the title.
exposure.
It's just a joke. Are you guys gonna fight again?
No.
Well, can you guys fight again?
Oh, you want us to?
I found it. I was
he's
entertained by
the
it.
secret puppeteer, a
I'm
puppet
pretty- yeah.
master over here, isn't he?
Pretty evil.
Yeah. He's
I'm Mr. Nice Guy over here with the
Sean,
big thick calves.
will you let Kalina speak now?
he's afraid of Orson Welles, a 700-pound.
I can't do an
rhino.
Orson Welles voice. Sorry.
Okay. So,
Tell us about
anyways,
exposure.
my podcast is called Exposure. It's at Impact 89 FM, Michigan State student-led run radio station.
WDBM.
Yep. And it's all about different clubs, organizations on campus, and it's been a lot of fun. I had the Comedy Cellar on, what was it, last week, and they were really fun. And I have, this past week was Vim Magazine, and coming up this Sunday is the women's rugby team. So it's just been a lot of fun meeting with different people around campus and just kind of talking. I mean, it's a tiny podcast. Like, I get maybe...
Do you have sponsors? Can we have some?
No.
Oh.
It's a non-profit organization.
Would you like to
so-
sponsor this podcast? Just write down what you'd like us to say.
Well, we
on,
do have
on the back of a check.
Why don't you tell us about the butchery? I mean, we do have a sponsor.
Not only is the butchery our sponsor, but they sponsor Kalina Nice,
Yes.
our Michigan State rower and broadcaster and undergraduate. Yeah, undergraduate.
Yep.
Underclassman even, right? Sophomore?
Yeah, just a sophomore.
Beautiful. So the butchery, boy, they're a great place. One of the reasons why we love the butchery is because they have some of the finest meats you'll ever eat. And lots of treats, and it's a super groovy market. If you want to know more, you can go to thebutcherysl.com or call 248-682-COWS. I did write that down because I want to make sure I get that right. That's C-O-W-S. Some people might think it's C-O-W-Z. No, it's 248-682-COWS. Chef Dave and Chef Julie have a family-run business that is known for not only being outstanding, a good value, and Convivial, they are looking for help. They are hiring, like many places out there. And I think if you're looking for work, you have your choice of places to work. Well, why not work someplace that's really cool, that has a great vibe, great colleagues, and every once in a while, you'll see me and Sean in there. Sometimes I'm just sitting there trying to get some boneless chicken breast or some ground chuck. Sean's in there with a butcher's knife saying foul words in front of my mom. But Chef Dave and Chef Drew, they don't care. They accept everybody as damaged as they may be. They just want to do good business and help people out. So if you're looking for work, if you're looking for some good eats, and if you're looking to support the business that supports Kalina and this show, please go to The Butchery. You can find out more at thebutcherysl.com. They are closed Mondays and Tuesdays, but give them a look. You will love it. And Thanksgiving's coming up. Good time to get a turkey or whatever. Sean, what else would you make for Thanksgiving?
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening.
To our sponsor?
No, I was listening. I was thinking about not the hanger steak. I was thinking about the porterhouse, the dry aged meats in there.
Nice recovery.
Yeah.
Dry aged meat. Okay, good. I thought you were going to say you were thinking before you spoke, but I knew that wasn't
Well,
really
he's got
possible.
he's got a
So
little
you're thinking about the
wagyu in
food.
there.
Well, since you're
He put the swagger in
Wagger?
Sorry, Mr. Hubbard.
Wagyu?
Mike's trying to
Wagyu and
use
wagyu.
this sponsor read to reel me in with some talk about his mama, and it's not going to work.
I was just trying to jump the Snake River Farms, where they have some great.
248-682 cows. And
That's
since Sean's in not paying attention mode, last week of the campaign.
Oh,
stretch
last
run.
week the campaign. Oh, you know what? I was.
You mind if I use the restroom?
No, this is your time. I gave you that out.
But if you're going to use the restroom, don't do it here. You can go up the stairs. Okay. Anyway, this is a good time to talk about other older Americans like Jill Biden. And John Rutherford performed this weekend before Jill Biden, who was in town and was at a local fundraiser along with some of the most powerful people in the state of the Michigan, from Gretchen Whitmer, our governor, to Mike Duggan, our mayor, to our senators and some other powerful folks. John, as you may know, is the leader of the Motor City Horns. He does a lot of gigging, a lot of teaching, and plays for Bob Seger, who is perhaps going to make his 17th farewell tour soon. But when he's not doing all that, he is your co-host and one of the proprietors of the Cadieux Cafe. That's where the local stars shine. And coming up, November 20th, master flautist Alexander Zonchik is coming in. On December 3rd and 4th, master shredder Laith Al-Sadi, a great singer, a great guitar player who did very well on The Voice, will be there. If you want to find more about what's coming up at the Cadieux Cafe, they have music all the time. Go to CadieuxCafe.com. And by the way, if you'd like to join me at the Cadieux this Saturday
What?
at noon, my campaign will be holding a Michigan State watch party. And then after that, we're going to go knock on some doors. So if you would like to go to the Cadieux this Saturday, they typically are not open this early on a Saturday, but they will make a special effort for those of us who love the Spartans and the Wolverines and good government. We will be there starting a little bit before noon at the Cadieux Cafe. It's on Cadieux between Mac and Warren on the east side. So see us at the Cadieux this Saturday or any day.
You seem a little looser, a lot less stressed. Is that because you're in the final week?
No, because I haven't been accused of
Sean's
belonging to
not
any
poking
hate
you?
groups. That's a big burden lifted. So that's kind of that helps.
No, I'm not going to poke
mood
him
in the room.
anymore.
But
But 1 week left. That's pretty exciting. No? Yes? No? I think it's exciting. I'm excited. Sean's not. I am.
yeah, I don't know.
What, that it's almost over?
it's,
That we'll get Mikey back?
No, but
it's
you
weird. We
Do all this work for one day.
Yeah, well, but the thing is, everybody we meet really likes the campaign, really likes what we're talking about. So that's a good thing. But then you worry about, are we meeting enough people? So then it kind of tortures you in that way. But we are.
Well, aren't you always gonna have something like, oh, we could have done this, could have done more.
Yeah, of course. Everybody
The
who
enemy of-
loses by one vote just thinks about the things they didn't do. So we just in the last week or two have added these banners now. They're 4 foot by 8 foot. There's 10 of them throughout the district with a big picture of me. I think if Sean had ordered them, it would say head actual size on them, but instead it says the newsman. But it is a big picture, and I will tell you.
Is the earring the size of a tire now?
It may be the size of a tambourine. I'm not sure, but
Or more of a hula hoop.
I will just provide this advice to anybody else out there who's thinking of running for office. If your picture is going to be made bigger than it is on your license, you may want to consider airbrushing.
Oh.
I'll just tell you that.
Yeah, I wouldn't
What
like
about a little makeup?
I guess you could do that too.
You were used to that from the news business.
I didn't wear makeup on the news.
Never.
Maybe once or twice.
What about the circles under your eyes occasionally? You don't really get them much
It
because
just suggests wisdom.
You've aged beautifully. But
Did I tell you my Charlie LaDuff makeup story?
no, tell it, please. That sounds interesting.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you want to put me on a timer?
No.
Okay.
Just go ahead.
so,
wait. Do you want to write it down first?
So, is that the Righteous Rick timer?
Well, that's one of them. It's
Okay.
You're already 5 seconds in.
So,
Sorry, Kalina.
So when I got to Fox, Charlie says, "Hey, man, you and me, we're gonna be the two guys. Don't wear makeup." I said, "Okay, that's fine. Not a big deal." So after Charlie's episode in Corktown, we were both in court covering the Kilpatrick public corruption trial.
Remind us of that episode.
You can look it up.
Charlie got in a dust up in Corktown, and it was I'll just say it was a Donnybrook. So anyway,
Okay, there we go.
I see him the next day in court, and it was during a break, and I was down in the overflow room, and I said, "Dude, what are you doing here?" He's like, "It's a big day. I'm here." And I said, "Okay." And I said, "Man, you look good." And he goes, "Makeup."
Wow. Well, that's the only time.
He must have put on about a half an inch because
It's the only time, though.
he got into a little fracas with some police, and there's one thing about police and bouncers: you never fight one, and it doesn't stop necessarily when you think it should stop. So he had his encounter, and so he wore makeup on that day, and he looked.
So when did you wear
looked
makeup?
Fantastic. When did I wear
Yeah,
makeup?
you said maybe once or twice.
Yeah, good question.
Yeah, maybe once or twice if
One
I
day we were
had
sweaty.
if I had like a blemish. Like if you're watching us on
Oh,
Facebook
yeah.
Live, you can see I got something over my one eyebrow.
Oh, thanks for pointing that out.
And I have a pretty high forehead. So when you have a big forehead and you have a third eye,
Does that suggest a large brain?
people no. It
I have a
suggests
high
a
forehead.
receding hairline.
yeah.
I have a high forehead too.
Yeah, exactly. So it does not suggest a large brain.
But you know
In
what
fact, it could be the exact opposite.
My wife.
All the evidence points to
Well, my wife does
squirrel
say.
brain.
My wife does call me Cro-Magnon Man because of my extended forehead.
Really? Is that when you're on the road or when you're back home?
Both.
I was in Moncton, Maine the other day, and I met this lobster fisherman, and he had a fascinating story. That's my
I thought
Charles
I
Carruth.
thought Moncton was in New Brunswick.
There's two of them.
Okay.
Yeah, there's you're
Because
thinking
I've been to the one in New Brunswick.
you're thinking of New Moncton,
Oh, maybe.
which is in New Brunswick. I'm thinking of Moncton, Maine, and there's of course Moncton in Brunswick.
We're huge in Moncton.
There's Old Moncton. Yeah, in fact,
We're huge in New Delhi,
this
too.
this show started off so boring. We have had to play the Moncton card to try and drive up our numbers. I think our penetration in Moncton will be insane.
So you
Mark,
won't-
that's too bad we didn't start off with him in church.
No, that's okay. I saw him on Sunday after you were preaching.
I did not preach. I
you
just
have more went to church.
I went
we have
to
more clips?
No
No,
clips.
I went to Women's Day at Second Ebenezer Baptist Church. I think it was the
right.
first time they'd been in church for in-church service
COVID?
in a long time. Yeah, and it was a great sermon. They had a guest preacher, a woman who did a sermon about Shake the Snake. Talking about how I believe it was Paul was bitten by a snake when he was going to be tried for some heresy, and I'll tell you what, I don't know where this woman got the
Please
energy.
do.
She
that's
had
something else.
she had a slow build up, but when she hit
So it
the red
sounded familiar.
line, she maintained that pace forever. It was pretty amazing. So afterwards, I came back here to be completely underwhelming and cut this little gem.
Oh God, you want me to play it? Okay.
I thought that's where you were driving.
Well,
us.
okay.
I thought we said we didn't have any clips.
I'll set it up because no, it's just audio. He had to record a 30-second commercial. Do you think he can get his message in 30 seconds?
I don't know.
How many
Let's
takes?
see.
How many takes do you think it took?
Is he talking about himself?
The first one was too short. We had to pad it.
That sounds familiar,
It
too.
was like 50 seconds.
I'm ML Elric, your candidate for Detroit City Council in District 4. My roots in the East Side run deep, from the home my great-grandfather built on Algonquin to the home on Outer Drive where I raised my family. As a reporter at Fox 2, I cleaned up City Hall. Now I want to clean up our neighborhoods. I'm the only candidate with a plan to stop the flooding, hold officials accountable, and hire more police. I'm running for City Council in District 4 because I know we can make Detroit better together. Vote for me, ML Elric, now or before November 2nd. Paid for by Michael Lewis Elric for Detroit.
Huh? Look at that, 30 seconds.
That's pretty good.
I really wanted you
Music too.
I really wanted you to say this.
If you vote for me, all of your wildest dreams will come true.
That was 8 seconds I couldn't spare.
It would have worked though.
But
Who put that together for you?
I did.
I wrote it, and Mark produced it, and my campaign manager, Vanessa Hamilton, picked the beats.
Nice. So a collaborative effort.
She's kind of the Dr. Dre to my Eminem.
Melanin. ML Melanin.
ML and L. ML and ML.
So you won't be here next Tuesday, right? You'll be counting votes.
I will not be next Tuesday. And
Sean, will you be here next Tuesday?
No, so it'll just be Mark.
All right, Kalina, will you help me out
If
next Tuesday?
Kalina plays hooky, she can. By the way, in terms of padding
have
our
a show.
audience,
Yeah, I'll be here next Tuesday.
Yeah, I know.
when Kalina joined this podcast, we registered as I think the 16th most popular news and commentary podcast in India.
All right.
Wow.
Did you know you had that
Interesting.
kind of poll?
Gonna draw.
In
on the
India?
continent? Yes.
No.
Yeah. What is it? What is it that about you that you think appeals so much to the people of India? The
I don't
most
know.
populous nation on earth, I believe. So if we're going to pick a nation to be suddenly popular,
passed
that's a
China?
good one.
I mean,
I
I,
think
guess.
so. They're both a billion.
Mark's going to get on
I'm
that.
gonna look.
Sean's getting out his National his
Mark's looking up.
World Almanac.
Mark's looking it up.
I know 15% of my listeners to my podcast are from Spain.
From Spain.
Wow.
Why Spain? I don't know.
Probably someone went on vacation there and downloaded it there.
Also,
China's
why
number
are you
one.
listening to a podcast about Michigan State's clubs and
They're on vacation.
campuses in Spain?
Maybe they like the way your voice sounds. So
They're really into women's rugby
I guess.
and comedy sellers.
so the whole campus is off this week. It's all fall break. I'm still.
It's just today and yesterday.
Oh, okay. Because I wanted to know how insane East Lansing is right now, gearing up for Saturday.
I'm scared.
You
Like
cannot
scared.
find a
Very
couch at
scared.
a
I know.
Goodwill
I mean,
anywhere.
Michigan's pretty good. I understand why you're scared.
not for the game,
Oh.
for campus, because people are going to be coming from everywhere just to be in East Lansing. College Game Day is going to be there this week. We've got two concerts at different frats.
Not only is College Game Day going to be there, but Fox's impersonation of College Game Day is going to be there. And I don't think they've
yeah.
ever been at the same stadium. I mean, maybe they have, but to my knowledge, I don't remember them both doing their shows
yeah,
from the
I
same
have
game.
No idea. Campus is going to be so busy.
This will be
and
this will be a fun week for you.
I'm worried about it being at noon.
Why?
Because that's a long time for a lot of people to drink.
Well, this 7
7
o'clock would have been
be
worse.
Yeah.
Night games are much worse.
When you start drinking at 8 a.m. and you're going to the bar, especially on Halloween weekend, when people
Oh,
are
you
going
mean
to-
that night? Oh, I didn't even
Yes.
think of that. That's an interesting aspect. I didn't think about that.
That's when people get hurt.
I was going to
it's-
say, what a nightmare for the police up there.
It's not going to be that bad because half of the people are going to leave immediately after the game to go back to Ann Arbor and say, we should have fire Harbaugh.
Oh, that's right. And the other half is so well behaved no matter what happens in the game.
No, I'm not saying anybody's going to be well behaved. I'm just going to say half of the crowd, the visitors, are going to go home very wounded and say,
No, it'll be fine.
"It's not a very good school. I
It's gonna be
think
fine.
we're a far superior
Because
institution."
Michigan's going to win and it'll dampen the whole town. And it'll be-
Michigan is going to win.
All I'm gonna
What
say
do you
is
base
Constance
that
will
on?
be
That's the
fine.
most crazy thing I've ever heard.
I mean, we
I
won
think they're a
last
little bit
year.
better.
What?
Really?
They complete a 6-yard pass at some point?
They're just a tiny bit better.
Peyton's had a pretty rough few games though. Like last week, I don't know what that was.
Yeah, he's been
I
uneven.
don't know what's going on.
Michigan State's more explosive.
They're
for
boom
sure.
or bust.
Yeah, they are.
Right?
I just
Don't
think-
forget about the second half against Nebraska. I
just
mean,
think-
sometimes that offense.
Oh, and they were underwhelming against Indiana as well.
Yeah.
But
That
Michigan,
one I'll cut 'em a break.
Michigan almost lost to Rutgers at home. They should have lost to Nebraska.
See, you say that, but did you watch the game?
Are you kidding? It's Michigan. Why would I watch the game?
I did.
Maybe if I was
watched
constipated.
the Nebraska game I watched, and that one they should have lost.
Yeah, I watched that game
they
because I
didn't.
thought they were going to lose. Not a hater, just
very
an
partisan.
observer of.
Sean's the most unbiased person here.
No, he picked Michigan to go 12-0 last season.
I don't remember doing that.
It's because you're in advanced age, but no,
That's not. You need to step the zingers up. I feel like people are going to tune out. They came in. They wanted more
They don't come for that. Don't believe me. They don't come for singers.
I think it's.
They wanted fisticuffs, right?
I think it's time for a little live music, or not live music, but a little performance from John Rutherford.
Oh, this garbage? This one?
Oh my God!
What is that?
It's John Rutherford. I like it because I'm in control, so I get to pick which song it is.
What? Who's?
Really? You seem to know so much about that university, but you don't know this song? You really don't know what song this is?
Is this Slippery
other one.
Rock?
What is it called? Shoot.
This is adorable that you guys don't know what song that is.
Hey, I've only been going to school there for like a year
you'll-
and a half.
I think you'll be hearing it a lot this weekend.
Other than John Rutherford's virtuosity, I don't recognize anything about this.
That's all right. You'll probably just hear the hook all weekend. So.
I'm guessing it has something to do with Michigan because I just hear a
Oh
lot of
God,
people.
turn it off.
The Victors.
I just
Next
hear a
to
lot
the
of
whole
people
song.
blowing hard. That's how I know it's the Michigan fight song.
Oh, as opposed to this one?
Were you going to switch to something? Being a skilled producer?
Yeah, I did switch.
Oh.
You didn't even notice.
I did.
God, I got so tired of hearing that.
That's big time brass.
You'd rather hear this one?
No.
No, not necessarily. I was with the basketball team one winter, and just that. Oh, yeah.
I love that mournful oboe.
Which one?
The Spartans.
Oh, okay, good. I agree.
That
Just-
if you listen to the original words of that one little pet's like, I forgot my homework assignment. I gotta get back to the quad because some guy put my head in the toilet and flushed it a couple of times because I'm a little dweeb. Like Mark
Good one.
Felhar, who's really from Columbus,
Good one.
It
Born,
is-
born
it
in
is-
Columbus.
Buckeye
That is a good
trader.
one. As Jim Schaefer says,
Raised the
God's
Buckeye.
country.
What? God's country?
That's what he calls Columbus, yeah.
That's not really.
So-
That's kinda-
I sort of like Columbus, but that's okay.
That's if that's
You
God's
guys can
country.
let your prejudices
That's-
color
that's-
how
that's
the
why-
world actually is.
That's why there's so many.
Hey, I live there, man. What are you talking about?
You were born there.
I
You
lived
didn't
there for
live
6 months
Oh, okay.
as a baby.
So
Your diaper changed here. Now you know
Exactly.
all about it.
That's all it was good for.
we have to make some predictions on this game. And by the way, does anybody else think Mel Tucker was it Rainier Saban who said that he caused a huge distraction by not saying that I'm absolutely not going to LSU?
Is that in today's paper?
It was yesterday.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Thanks for supporting your cause.
So it was well, and
Rainier, I know how you feel, buddy.
I thought that was really odd. He's, I mean, coaches lie all the time. He could just say, "I'm here, I'm staying here," and just lie about it because coaches lie. I thought his non-answer was pretty telling.
As a Spartan, I was
I don't know.
disappointed not to hear him say, "I'm here. I don't, I'm
That's
not
what I
going to
mean.
LSU," because of course, nothing ever good happens when an MSU coach goes to Louisiana.
Oh, it works-
It's a
it works out for them.
disaster. Oh, right, Saban. Damn.
Yeah, and he's doing just fine.
mind.
But remember
It
when
was the
he-
Michigan coaches where it doesn't work out. Oh, but they won a national championship under the Mad Hatter. Yeah, Michigan coaches who go to LSU tend to do very well in that stop. But
they both did. Saban and Miles.
I know that's what I'm saying. That was
You're trying to take a crack.
point.
It's not working.
no. I know. I was going to say something about the Mad Hatter, but he won a championship there with somebody else's team,
Well, yeah.
the Spartans team. But that's fine.
I mean, who cares what happened off the field while he's
Yeah, I did a great job in Kansas.
No, I mean off the field at LSU.
No, I know. It turns out that who's the cranky guy you like so much? Lloyd Carr.
Oh, I
who
love
didn't
Lloyd.
want Miles to come to Michigan was absolutely right, and he was probably right about Rodriguez too, and Hulkamania. But I think he liked Hulk.
Have you seen Brady Hoke lately?
Isn't he coaching?
He's undefeated in San Diego State.
Oh, is it San Diego? Didn't he come from San Diego? No.
He did. Now he's back there.
Yeah, he's back
Yeah,
there. Okay.
Yeah, and he's lost a ton of weight. He's had a whole makeover.
Oh, damn. And
Yeah, looks
and
totally different.
Kalina was going to break some news here. His
Oh.
next stop is going to be coaching the women's rugby team at Michigan State. You can hear that
What's wrong with
only on
that?
exposure at WDBM.
What's wrong with that? That's what he wants to do.
It'd be the toughest team in Michigan he's ever coached.
Okay, that was a good one. I'll give you that.
Speaking of the big game, Detroit Sports Broadcasters Tablegate Luncheon is tomorrow. It's Tuesday if you're listening to us now. DetroitSportsMedia.com. Please check that out. I still have a seat at my table. If anybody would like to come, shoot me a note at mlsoulofdetroit@gmail.com. You can throw $50 in the kitty, which we will turn around to put towards scholarships for kids who aspire to be sports broadcasters. It's a great cause. The guests are going to be Connor Cook, Tony Lippett, who almost killed a punter.
Connor Cook, I haven't heard anything from Connor Cook in a while.
God, what a great quarterback. I think his arm has never been the same since that Maryland game. And then Jake Butt will be there.
Love Jake.
The Wolverine I admire above all others because he actually
Thanks a lot.
was a teammate. And then some other dude who went to Michigan.
Who was the other one?
I'm not sure.
Isn't it Will Campbell? Is it Big Will?
It might be Big Will.
Wait a second.
It might be.
Let me just go back for a second, Mike. Do you think Tucker
It is William Campbell.
distracting? Or
So I'm not
has been a
distracted by
distraction?
it, but I do think that what you should say is, I'm Michigan State's coach. I'm not going to LSU.
Yep.
Especially when you bailed out on Colorado.
It's pretty
I mean,
easy.
you have a track record of saying I'm not going and then going. So actually, I guess if he said he wasn't going, people would say that's what you told Colorado.
Yeah, and plenty of coaches do that. Saban.
They lie all the time.
Yeah,
Saban did it when he was at
They all did.
Miami.
And by the way, Reiner's story is today, not yesterday. And here's a very
Why did you have to look that up?
because I haven't seen the paper today. Here's an Elrickian.
Okay, it's more
Here's a paragraph with
too
the
busy
word.
with show prep, no doubt.
Does this sound familiar, Mark? Right.
What? Yeah, what?
We
Here's
appreciate
a
your
paragraph
commitment.
from his story that includes the words robotic, stepping stone, peripatetic, and mollify, all in one fucking paragraph.
Did he curse too?
Did he get his point across?
No, I mean in a Elrickian roundabout way. Yeah.
Do you think he should have been a little more forceful in his?
I just don't want to see the word
response?
mollify in a sports column. I'm
I would
sorry,
agree.
Reiner. I'll talk to Reiner about that when I see him in the press box this weekend.
Especially
Is the game this weekend? Did you need to check?
Plus, you have to know your audience you're writing to.
Yeah, and it's clearly not Mike.
I know what the word mollify means. It doesn't.
No,
bother
I
me.
know you do, but you don't read sports, so
I do read sports.
you do.
Yeah. I haven't read your column, but I read sports.
I didn't know you read.
I did
didn't
read
know you read.
your latest effort to redeem all of us pagans from our own ineptitude. But
What was that?
We appreciate you reaching into our souls and explaining to us.
Oh, the phrase "moral victory."
The world is. Oh no, I didn't see that actually. But was that about the Lions? Oh, I
Yeah.
did see Carlos write about. Carlos wrote Sean's co-host on the Carlos and Sean podcast.
I thought you said yawn.
No, you misheard me. Nothing but love for the competition. But
Or John, as they would say in Philly.
could be. Or Yins, as they'd say in Pittsburgh. But the Carlos was saying what a great game that was. I thought he was the bitter beer face guy at the Free Press. And
No,
here
he
is-
was just trying that hat on, and now he's back to being himself.
So was he
Right, when he
really
actually
trying?
Oh,
goes.
you talking about the Lions Rams?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Was
That
he
was a
really
good-
trying to be gracious, or was this his way
No, it
to
was a
take a
fun game.
backhanded slap at Dan Campbell and say, "You shouldn't be happy that you lost, or you should be
No,
happy"?
no,
that
he
you-"
was
I mean,
being sincere. It was a fun game.
It was.
So he's sincerely squishy. Okay, I'm very pleased I didn't see any of it. Nor will I see their next game or any of the games after that,
Why is that? Because you hate Detroit?
because the Lions suck. The Lions are not.
You
worth
realize
my
being
time.
a Detroiter means that you have some hope and you don't give up, right? You keep coming. You don't just walk away.
Yeah, I also don't support incompetence, and I don't believe in rewarding bad behavior.
Really.
So sorry.
So
Lions.
folks that are trying their asses off and may just not be good enough, that's bad behavior.
Yeah. Yeah, that's bad. That's bad behavior. That's bad on the field. It's
Okay,
not
it's
good.
nice to know what kind of fan you are.
It's not good. No. I'm a fan of people who have their
Who don't
act
get
together.
paid to play. That's who you will support.
No. I support college athletes who are paid handsomely before this NIL thing. The only time I've seen NIL used
Galena's shaking
appropriately is when BYU used it to pay all of their roster athletes, and when this podcast signed up Kalina Neese. So
Why are you shaking your head, Clint?
Because she knows he's full of shit.
Yeah.
Before,
do you think we should pay podcasters?
I mean, yeah. Why not?
Or provide scholarships to podcasters? See, I would rather use
Yeah.
I would rather use every talented student on campus, give them some sort of financial break rather than pay athletes. There's so much talent on a college campus
they can do that
is
too.
not compensated.
They could do that as well. But that's
Okay.
not where people want to spend their money.
Well, why don't we start by spreading that money around before just giving it to a bunch of lunks who are already getting
but it's their
handsomely
money.
compensated?
Yeah, where are you pitching your tent on
it's
Saturdays?
their
Outside
money.
the library?
Thanks for paying attention, but I thought I would be at the Catcher
That's his
Cafe.
point. Their sponsor. That's his point. Isn't that your point?
Yeah.
No, we're going there
No, I'm
because
just curious. When you go up the tailgate, where are you pitching your tent? Next to the Chem
Gross.
Lab? No, it's actually next to.
And you're waiting for the
my
folks.
house?
You're waiting for the folks to come out from there.
Are you cheering on the chem professors?
Is that what you're doing?
Is that my house? Well, actually, I think the super colliding cyclotrons brought more money to MSU's campus than the football program.
It's funny. I
has.
remember seeing you in Dallas 6-7 years ago or so, and I worked my way up. And where were we? Were we at a podcast convention for Michigan State students,
We didn't have a podcast then, but if we had been, I think we would have been invited.
or was it the Greek Everyday Life class folks? They were hanging out in
So so
Arlington, Texas, and
I-
you were down there with your family to celebrate that.
I appreciate the point you're making.
I think I know where you're going now, Sean. You are now denigrating anybody who's not a college athlete. Well done, sir.
Is that what I'm doing?
Thank you for
No,
people
he's-
who
No,
maybe.
I'm pointing out where you're spending your own money,
Yeah, you're allowed to spend your money where you want to spend
and
it.
where are you spending it?
Ishbia
Yeah,
can spend
and I'm
it
just
on
saying. I'm just saying, my university should
Oh,
not
I'm
be
going to
paying.
get on a plane and fly all the way down
Your
there
university-
and watch these guys play for my enjoyment, and I don't want them to get paid.
your university isn't paying.
Your argument is so fundamentally flawed because I believe they are being paid. They are being compensated.
Well, why don't they just give everybody a scholarship that wants to go there? Why not make tuition free then?
I'd love to see every kid go to college for free. Fantastic. Good job. I appreciate that. Let's do that.
How are they being compensated? Making a few seats extra in a 300-seat lecture hall and giving them a dorm room?
So, Sean, I was under the impression your sons went to college, and I imagine you write some hefty checks for that because I know I write some very hefty checks for my kids to go to college.
Yeah, they do.
So, what's your point?
Do they get paid? Is that getting paid? You got 35,000 students up there, and you're taking 120 of them on for a football team, or however many of them on scholarship, and you're
Yes,
working them
yes.
into that ecosystem, and you're calling that payment.
There are kids who
No.
are musicians who
Meanwhile,
are academics
you get on a
who
plane to
there
go
are
watch them
academic
play.
scholarships.
You get on a plane to go watch them play. I saw you out in California too.
And if my kid
That's 2,000
and
miles
if my
away.
kid was in the Glee Club and she was playing in California, I would go watch her play.
But it wasn't your kid out there, was it?
yeah, but
you
I'm
think
a
of it- you
sports
think of it-
fan.
No, you're not.
that's-
You're
but
a
that's the point.
Spartans.
Wait a minute.
fan.
I am a sports fan. How can you even say that? At least I know when the Pistons opener was.
You don't even. I was
At
at the
least I read
Pistons
Rainier.
opener.
I know, and you couldn't remember what day it was, sports fan.
That's not anything to do with sports. That's just me getting senile and old.
The point being,
Okay, well, you got that one.
Matt Ishbia,
I got to
who's
concede that.
paying all the.
and you forgot decrepit and kind of.
So you're mad that Ishbia
Lumping.
is paying the football players and basketball players the $500 stipend? You're mad? You want him to pay the just regular random students?
So we've had this conversation so many times, it's beyond tedious, but I have said, and I will maintain, and I'll never stop saying it, and someday you guys will be like, I guess he was right, that college athletes are compensated with their scholarship, with the tutoring, with the clothes, with the travel, with the opportunity, with the academic support, with the nutrition support, all of that stuff.
Yeah, nobody
And if
disagrees
we are
with
going
that.
to pump a lot more money into our college campuses, I would like to see it spread throughout the student
Wait,
body.
okay, who's
and
we,
I would
though?
like to put
Who's we?
whoever wants to send money there. The reason why
Exactly,
Matt
but
Ishbia
they-
is putting that money there is because the athletic
He's a
department
sports
has a
fan.
massive operation to bring in more money. I'd like to see
Yeah, that
other
they
parts
then-
of the
that
university
they then spend
same
on
thing.
like 50 associate athletic directors instead
Right.
of giving it to the people that actually.
Great.
They're
I'm
putting.
terrific. I'm
He's
all
putting
with you.
that money because they're
Let's
alums.
take those jobs away. Let's put a cap on college coach salaries.
But they have to spend it because they're nonprofits.
Why is he putting that money in that?
That's so untrue. We
Mark,
could
why
do.
is he putting the money in that?
Well-
Because there are alums that are about 6'2.5" with an earring in their ear who get on a plane to go see them play. That's
I
exactly
donate
why.
to the Michigan State Communication Arts and Sciences College, serve on that alumni board because I support those students too. So your argument doesn't hold any water.
You can do both.
It's like your bladder. It spilleth over.
I wish it did.
Let's not get back to your plumbing.
Yeah, go shake your snake. Overreaction.
My God, you can't speak
What?
that way.
What? Why? I thought you had to go. You had to go to the bathroom like 20 minutes ago.
I did, but I'm sitting here and waiting for Mike's next great story.
I think that's,
well,
I think
got a
that's
story
Drew's
for you.
chair.
It hasn't come yet, so
Overreaction is not the strategy for a long-term investor, and neither is burying your head in the sand and hope it all turns out for the best. That's why when you invest, you got to call our buddy Luke Nowacki, Pinnacle Wealth, 248-663-4748. He's going to provide rational financial advice, stocks, bonds, 401ks, 529 for the college savings plan. If you have a company, do you have the right investments? Get advice, get a strategy. Call Luke Nowacki at Pinnacle Wealth, 248-663-4748.
Because when you call Luke, he will make it all about you, sweetheart.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through Royal Alliance Associates Inc. Member FINRA SIPC. Royal Alliance Associates Inc. is separately owned, and other entities and/or marketing names, products, or services referenced here are independent of Royal Alliance Associates Inc.
Before we move to Geek of the Week, can I have your prediction? Just so next time I see you, I can
Mine,
either congratulate you or make fun of you.
I am going to say it will be
A real one, not a 52 to 2.
No, I mean that's what I believe it'll be, but
Yeah.
that's
Sure.
only if we don't clothesline Michigan's team. I am going to say it will be.
Okay, while he's trying to figure that out, Sean,
wait,
you
what?
well, you're going to take forever. Do you have?
I think Michigan's going to win. I think it's going to be close. I haven't figured out more than that
Oh,
yet.
you guys are the worst, Galena.
It's going to be really close. I'm hoping State will win, and I think they'll win. We won last year, so I might as well take it again. We're better this year.
I'm going to
But
say
it's going to be really
24-17.
close. Yeah, that sounds good.
24-17, one touchdown by the
Boring.
defense, one field goal by Matt Coughlin, 17 points if we fumble in our own end zone and Michigan falls on it twice, and then tries to run it out and gets tackled, then can't get a first down, and then we kick a field goal. Or they kick a field goal. That's it.
Sean.
I don't know a score yet.
All right,
I'll figure it out
31-17, Michigan.
31-17?
Yeah, did you not hear me? 31-17.
I thought you maybe had dyslexia. I was thinking maybe 17-13 Spartans, and you read it wrong, but okay, that's fine.
Sean, or are you saving it for the paper? Did you
Yeah.
do that in the paper? You're saving it for the paper, really?
Not really. I just need to think about it. By the way, I'll have a
What do
geek.
we have to think about?
I'll have a geek of the week
We're
too,
all going to be wrong.
today.
All right.
You know, the only thing...
Oh,
I was going to say, the only thing
You have one too, Mark.
that is lower than Michigan's offense is David Hall's rates when you
you want to do that first?
when you mortgage.
They are the lowest.
They're very low.
Let's see. Call them 866-CALL-HALL. That's pretty easy to remember. 866-CALL-HALL for David Hall Financial. Or you can go to the website callhallfirst.com, or you can go to ML Solar Detroit and click on the little Hall Financial button there. It'll take you right to it. Call the experts at Hall Financial for a free 5-minute mortgage review. See what they can do for you, and they can close 8 days typically. That's a pretty fast closure date. And they're available 7 days a week. So if you're watching the Michigan State game and you went, oh, my mortgage, how can I get that cheaper? I'm going to call Hall Financial. I'm going to call them first. They have over 4,000 5-star reviews. Check them out. Once again, callhallfirst.com, 866-CALL-HALL, NMLS number 1467435.
So before we hit the sounder, when you say 31 points, Mark, are those 31 points generated by one quarterback?
By touchdowns
or
and
two-
field goals.
Or two
by two.
quarterbacks?
By two, without a doubt.
By two quarterbacks. Okay. That's more
I mean, what do you mean by generate? Because you're going to see a lot of McCarthy.
I think Michigan, if they go to him, could be explosive. But if not, it's going to be a grinded out game.
Really hot take.
Oh man, the geeks have inherited
At least we only got one quarterback.
What a dork.
Does him wanting to play with us again mean that he's turning into a geek, or we're turning into cool guys?
My original number might have been different, but because you guys were being so lame with your predictions, I had to mix it up a little bit.
Well, thank you for speaking purely from
Lame
the
is
heart.
this segment, but Mike likes staying in the 90s.
Ooh.
But let's go ahead.
What do you got? He wrote it down, too. He's holding up his script. That's great.
Right-wing radio show host Dennis Prager, pronounced Prager, said he has been actively trying to get a coronavirus infection all along.
Okay, that's enough.
I have engaged with strangers, constantly hugging them, taking photos with them, knowing that I was making myself very susceptible.
Or read.
You've totally lost the point now.
To getting COVID, he said. Okay, and this is according to the Washington Post. Beautiful. And Prager said, this is indeed, as bizarre as it sounded, what I wanted, in the hope I would achieve natural immunity and be taken care of by therapeutics. So Mr. Dennis Prager, 73-year-old, an age that should make you very vulnerable if you are somehow infected with the coronavirus, has been trying for months to contract the disease because he believes that therapeutics and natural immunity will carry him through this crisis. Well, we will see how that works out for him because guess what? Pragey, you got the bug. Like a lot of conservative radio show hosts, a lot of whom have died and on their deathbed said, oh boy, I wish I had not contracted coronavirus. I wish I had gotten vaccinated after telling people not to get vaccinated. Well, Mr. Prager, you wanted it. You got it, baby. So we'll see how that works out for you. But in the meantime, you've gotten something else. Our Geek of the Week award, period. Go to next segment. That wasn't written
You sure you don't have anything else written down?
That last part wasn't written there.
Nothing?
Look angrily at Sean. Okay, there we go.
There's an all-night party in room 7609. And you can dance together all night if you've got the time.
I thought Sean had a walk-on Geek of the Week.
That's right. I'm sorry.
Have we deprived him of an opportunity?
Oh, that's all right.
No, who is it?
You had one.
I don't know his name. He sat a row behind me and complained for 5 hours while we're riding in 7 miles in the sky at 600 miles an hour in
About
a fucking chair.
What was he complaining
We
about?
were delayed 2 hours coming out of LAX. He was bitching and moaning the whole time.
Well, you're right. You didn't have one.
And
okay,
then,
so
no. And then we land, and he's complaining about how long the taxi's taking, and then we have to wait for personnel at the gate, and he's complaining then. And then as soon as we get up there and
Sounds like me.
Unbuckle the thing, he stands up and turns around and shoves his butt into the woman next to him, and she
Sounds like me.
taps him on the shoulder, said, "Excuse me, sir, can you get your ass out of my face?" She said that. And then he turns around and moves a little bit, and she said, "Oh, my God, white privilege. She was black, he was white." And that was sort of interesting. But then he complained the whole time. He was a loud talker the whole flight. I learned all about his tractor business. That's great. That's good for him.
Did you buy one?
But no, I did not. Just a lack of self-awareness.
So I take it back. We would not be at that national championship podcast competition. We would not be ranked.
No, but
we would not be.
But do you ever?
If there's a 179 team playing, we would not make it.
And there were 200 people on that plane. Everybody's in the same boat. Just I don't know.
I know, but sometimes when you complain about something, even though you can't do anything about it, it makes you feel better.
And it makes the other people around you feel like
you don't do it out loud.
Yeah. Anyway, no, I didn't have a Geek of the Week. I just thought it was interesting that she said that's white privilege. Oh. Well, I thought that was interesting. That was her take on it because he wasn't aware of.
What was your take on it?
Well, could he have just been an asshole?
He was just a douche.
That he's just being an asshole. Yeah.
But
like ML said.
Yeah, I thought he was just a douche.
Okay, well then.
An exasperated ML.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say about the song?
It didn't get here soon enough. But, Halloween will be here any day now. And so here is Ministry with Every Day is Halloween.
Any time, any place, any
So that was Al Jorgensen and Ministry performing Every Day is Halloween. We've talked about Ministry before on this show, how they started off as this sort of melodic poppy band, and by the time songs like Stigmata came out, they were just this edgy, grinding, sort of punky new wave band.
When you were picking that song, did you pick it on
Were
YouTube?
you awake? And by the way, I thought every day was Christmas, especially here at the Soul of Detroit.
I thought it was Every Day is April Fool's Day.
But now I'm not so sure after listening to that. I look at Colleen over there, leaning her cheek on her
She's
hand.
fine. Are you fine, Colleen?
Yes, I told you I'm
No,
half
but that's a
asleep.
good description.
Don't mansplain.
Exactly. I don't blame you. It's a good description of the music.
She was taking notes, and I looked over during the song, and she wrote on there, "Don't do any of this on my show." That's what it said.
No, but what I wanted to ask you when you were picking out the song, did you pick it out on YouTube?
Or did you pick it out to hurt people?
Because but I'm getting at it. Did you see the acoustic version that they performed?
No, I just know it, and it's a good tune, and I thought it's Halloween, so
That's fine. They had an acoustic version just going off of what Ministry was to where they came,
So you're
where they
thinking-
are now. Because
Okay.
he's got piercing and tattoos.
Oh, yeah,
and
no, he's.
But then to do that song acoustically was the juxtaposition was really interesting, and Navarro's on it. And I don't know, it's cool. Check it out if you like it,
very nice.
or
yeah.
don't.
I have a question for you, Mike. I just got a text from a mutual acquaintance, and she wanted to know.
That's cryptic.
Did she apologize for her conduct on the plane?
She said, "Did you and Mike kiss and make up?"
I think we're just gonna
Halfway.
keep it platonic.
No tongue.
Maybe. I think the paperwork says 100 feet.
Are you still going to blow in my ear?
I'm feeling triggered.
No, I want you two to kiss each other.
So, that was Ministry.
That's fine.
That was one of the more upbeat Ministry songs, so I'm glad that Sean was here to make it so much darker than it needed to be. Anyways, Halloween, trick or treat, be safe, enjoy yourself.
Love it.
Yeah. So we want to thank our many benefactors. This week that includes Alan and of course Kristen, who regularly
She's the best.
sends an offering. This time it comes with a note.
Thanks, Kristen.
I hope your hard work and passion get you that seat. Good luck. Only she
too.
was talking about Sean's seat, which may be a little extra warm because he hasn't left the studio throughout the show. We would love it if you would consider supporting us on a regular basis. Maybe a massive annual donation, maybe something on a quarterly basis. Monthly seems pretty reasonable. Or if you'd like to make a weekly offering like you do at your local house of worship, we would be most grateful for your support because we are here because of your support. And Mark, how do they give us their support?
MLSoloDetroit.com. There's a little donate button there too. Or, you mentioned off the top of the show, anybody interested in advertising, we'll look at those too. Send an email in. We'll give you rates.
Is it really that easy?
It's super easy.
Because based on the number of people who have followed through it, would seem to be a
You
very
think it'd be
difficult
harder? Yeah,
thing.
fair enough.
But no, it's really easy. Okay. So I don't know if it is or not. I think you should probably see for yourself and go to mlsoulofdetroit.com and hit the donate button and find out if it truly is that easy. And if it's really hard, if it turns out to be harder than you expected, you should probably just make one giant donation so you don't ever have to be hassled like that again. But whatever you think is appropriate. And that was all written down. We would appreciate if you would subscribe.
He just
you
can't.
would
He won't let it go. He doesn't let anything go.
Let it go.
He won't. He doesn't let
If
anything
you
go.
would-
Just
That's a good
cannot let
callback,
it
though.
go.
If you would love the show,
But I like
you
that
would
he's
rate the
amused.
show-
I love that he's amused himself, though, Mark. Can you see him
What's,
smiling over there? That
He is
makes
his
me
number
happy.
one fan.
That warms my heart.
If I may digress,
The cockles of your heart.
I've had many
The Jim Harbaugh phrase.
many departures from the Detroit Free Press, and I think
Many arrivals, too.
I think the first one was the best going away front page I got. People give, when you leave newspapers, that used to be a tradition, they would make a front page, like a mock-up front page, where people would write stories about you. Some would be in good humor, some would be a little edgy, but they all were very distinctive and tried to hit at who you were and what you were known for. The first one, there was Schaefer's contribution was outstanding, and it was just quotes that I had sent him over the years. So, so yes, sometimes.
So you're saying you're quotable. So that was a long way of saying that you're awesome.
No, what I was trying to say is you're right.
Thank you for sharing that you're
You
awesome.
were right. Yes.
Yeah.
So, of course, we like it when you like the show, but we'll take whatever rating we can get. And guess what?
What?
We'll share that. Like, Really Please gave us 3 out of 5 stars in this review. No more for me. I used to find interest. Now all I hear from ML is abusive diatribe.
Abusive diatribe.
Good luck. I think that last part was
Sorry, I
meant
don't even need to use the cough button anymore.
in sarcasm. Yes, as a broadcast
Abusive
professional,
diatribe.
you are now beyond using. You don't need the cough.
I'm just trying to improve the show.
Well, I will say that sound was better than some of the other sounds you made earlier. RPN
Was that when you were
Block
blowing in my ear?
was even harsher, giving us 2 out of 5 stars. And this assessment, great job on being a candidate. Can't even answer a question from your co-host without blowing up and then ask him to rephrase the question so it's easier to answer.
Please relax. First off, you didn't,
Blah, blah, blah.
you didn't ask to rephrase it. I think we rephrased it.
I don't know.
Who
but
asked
it
the
was-
question? Was it you or me?
I think I know what he's talking about because I asked the question, but then I changed it because I didn't like the way I asked it.
One way to be sure is to listen to last week's episode, which you can find at mlsolardetroit.com. Kim writes, Dear ML, good luck to you and your family on this final stretch. It's so nice to end with Kim. Did you see former CEO Mark Fields just ordered 100,000 Teslas for Hertz? When you were a reporter back in the 2000s, did you recall hearing rumors that Fields refused to move to Michigan, instead commuting via Ford private jet to and from his home in Florida to the Dearborn office? Well, I do remember that because Steve Wilson practically made a living off of catching Mark Fields at the airport, deplaning from Florida to go to work in Michigan. And I think Steve's point was that auto workers are taking pay cuts. Ford is having financial difficulties. Shareholders are not getting their value out of the stock. And here is a top executive. He was not CEO at the time, commuting at company expense from his home in Florida. He did not care enough to live here.
Just like Matt Millen.
Michigan. Just like Matt Millen. Indeed. And so Mark Fields eventually did become CEO and was dethroned by the same man responsible for bringing Jim Harbaugh to East Lansing, my man from Steelcase. What was his name, Mark?
Hackett, Jim Hackett.
Jim Hackett. And the reason why he bumped Fields was because Ford's stock price was in the toilet. Hackett then proceeded to see how much lower he could take it, and he got booted for Jim Farley, who now has the stock price higher than either of those guys had it. So I do take Kim's point, and she gave us some more information in the email, but she basically said, do you think that Fields really bought those Teslas to stick it to Ford or because he thought it was a good move? And I guess I would say probably a bit of both, as
Probably.
Gabriel Byrne said in Miller's Crossing. Now, Sean, I know you love Miller's Crossing. It's
We
one
do.
thing you and I have in common.
We do.
Other than our loathing for you. But yours is self, mine is
we
third
also-
party.
we also
so there's
have
that. But did you know
We also had that in common. Is Gene Myers a former sports editor? You remember the great Gene Myers?
he contributed
Detroit.
to my campaign?
Oh, there you go.
His first political contribution ever.
He told me a long time ago I was the happiest depressed person he'd ever known.
Jumbo shrimp.
thought
So,
that was fun.
did you know
Exactly.
what Dashiell Hammett book Miller's Crossing is based on,
I do not.
or borrows liberally from?
What?
I thought since it was liberal, you'd have an idea.
No. Go ahead.
Okay. The Glass Key.
Oh, nice.
Excellent book. So anyway,
The
Kim
Schmata.
also,
That's what I remember about that movie, The Schmata. Go ahead.
that was not in. We don't use those kind of.
Get a
words.
more obscure reference next week.
That was in
Dashiell Hammett, one of the greatest noir writers.
Oh,
of all
yeah.
time.
The High Hat, too.
That's right. And
Totally.
the Dane.
We found something in pop culture that he knows. So.
Yes,
You
it's
still
from
gotta-
1927.
You got to run with it. Yeah.
So Kim goes on to say, sidebar show question.
Uh-oh.
Did you see Tucker getting that LSU gig? Or do you see Tucker getting that LSU gig? He and PSU's coach are the Vegas favorites. Now, we did discuss Tucker a little earlier in the show, but James Franklin, I think James Franklin's going to get run out of Happy Valley on a rail this year. I don't think he's going to be anybody's top choice for any kind of jobs. He's shown an inability to win the big games for Penn State, and he just lost to Illinois, unranked Illinois, at home.
He's done a pretty good job there, though. And I hate James Franklin.
Yeah, he
With
has done a
passion.
decent job, and he's lost his quarterback this year. So anyway, what's
Sean
next?
Clifford was there in the Illinois game.
Was he healthy? Did he play the whole game?
Played.
Did he?
Anyway, so
What's next? Can we
hope,
get back to Kalina?
I hope Tucker stays, and I'll tell you one of the things I liked about Mark D'Antoni the most.
Did he like Kalina too?
I don't know if they ever met, but the thing about Mark D'Antonio was we never worried about where his loyalty lay, and we never had to play that game that all these obnoxious coaches play, where it's like, maybe I'll stay, maybe.
Yeah, don't be a capitalist when you're at Michigan State, right? That's what you're saying.
No, I'm saying if you
Don't
say you wanna
operate
be
like the-
someplace, be someplace. That's it. If you want to go year to year, sign a year-to-year contract. That's what I did
You're
when
really
I was a
saying
contractual
this?
employee.
You're really saying this?
I am, because I
You,
live my life
of all
that way.
people.
What do you mean, me of all people?
Who's jumped around all over the place.
I never signed a contract committing myself to a place, and when I did sign a contract at Fox 2, it was for a year at a time, and I tried to work with no contract so I could leave when it suited me, but I never left a contract. I never broke my word, and when I said I was going to do
You
something,
didn't break your word. You changed your mind. That's okay. You're allowed to do that.
You also
if you're going to change your mind when the next job comes along, do not sign a multi-year contract.
That's not how this works.
Yeah, different world.
Yeah,
I'm talking about how it should work, not your world where we're going to ruin college sports by giving everybody all the money. they
We're
can
talking
afford.
about how it works. But I like it that you like to keep it.
I guess I'm sorry for wanting things to be better.
No, you just want somebody around to
Wait a
amuse
sec.
you and entertain you until you're done with it,
Wait a
right?
second.
There's
wait
no
a second.
evidence of that. I have ample proof every Tuesday that is not what my life is all about.
You want it to be better. Isn't it not better that State got Mel Tucker for when they took him from Colorado? Wasn't he under contract there?
He was.
I did not like that Mel Tucker broke his contract with Colorado, and I especially did not like that he told Colorado, I'm not going to break my contract.
Have you been to a game this
So
fall?
you don't like him then?
I've been to 2 halves,
Really?
Well, that's because he's campaigning, though.
Yeah, so you,
second halves.
did you go into the stadium?
I did.
Did you cheer for the team he's coaching?
I cheer for Michigan State. I don't cheer for the coach.
But he happens to be coaching the team, so you're okay with it, is what you're saying.
Yeah, if it benefits
I
you.
cheer.
Exactly.
That's what's
for
crazy
my
about
team.
college
No, no,
athletics.
no,
Exactly,
No,
yeah. No,
when
that's
John L.
okay.
Smith was a coach, I cheered for the team. When Bobby Williams was the coach, I cheered for the
But
team.
you wanted John
When
L.
George
out.
Perlis, who I thought was reprehensible in many ways, coached, I cheered for the team.
Did you want him out?
Did I want who out?
Perlis.
Yes.
Smith.
I liked Smith.
Bobby Williams.
When Bobby said he didn't know what he was doing, that was kind of enough for me.
What about Tucker? Do you want him out
I think
just
you-
because he...
I want
He broke
Tucker.
his contract.
He hasn't broken it yet.
Well, he did with Colorado.
Until Mel Tucker proves that he's not a man of his word in East Lansing, I will expect.
Oh, in
him to
East
fulfill that
Lansing.
contract.
Okay. So when he did it in Colorado, you didn't care.
I did care. I just said minutes ago that I didn't like it. It was the one thing about him I didn't like.
But not enough to actually boycott the
College
games or
athletics
anything
is
like
not this egalitarian.
I don't go
world.
for the coach. I don't know why you don't understand it. I go for Michigan State. That is my team. That is where I'm connected. That is what I care for.
I know what you're saying.
Whether
You don't
you're
have
a
any principles
journalism
when it's a
student
fan.
or whether you're an athlete.
you're saying.
I know what you're saying, ML. When Michigan was terrible, I still rooted for him. I still root
And
for
you
him
will
now, and I
this
don't like
weekend.
I don't like Harbaugh, and I
Exactly.
still root for him.
There you go. That's what it's all about. Kalina, save us.
What do you want me to say? If Tucker leaves, I'm gonna cry.
Wanna
I
take
love
us out.
Tucker.
There you go.
He's a nice guy too. He would walk in to his office every morning last year when I was getting my COVID test. Always would say hi, and I don't know.
And those players, they like him. I mean,
he
they,
seems like
they,
a great-
That's the thing.
They
I was
love him, actually.
talking
Good
to some of the
coach.
players last weekend, and they all love Tucker. They don't want him going anywhere.
I can
And
totally see why LSU would want him.
well, yeah, everyone wants
That's
him.
the irony.
And they
of
Our
play.
team
That's
sucks
the irony of
last
college
year.
football.
They
right? Mm-hmm.
play their butts off for him. They sure do.
Our team was garbage last year and the year before, and all of a sudden we're one of the best teams in the United States, just out of nowhere.
So far.
Maybe one of the best teams on the planet.
So far.
We beat the shit out of that best Canadian college football team. I
Really?
think we are in the top 10 teams on the planet.
You're still going to have a good season after Saturday. Don't worry about it.
We'll be fine.
I'm
gonna win
going.
this
I'm
weekend.
going
It'll
to
be fine.
Purdue after the election. That's my big trip. I'm going to Purdue
Really?
to watch them.
Purdue.
I'll
Gross.
take you to
Nice
a little
reward.
bit. I'll take you to a deli in Indy. You're going to go down to Indy. You're going to drive straight to West Lafayette.
Ooh, what a great choice. What a prisoner's dilemma.
No, Indy's kind of a sneaky cool town.
Oh, we've talked about Indy. You gave us a travelogue. That was on a previous episode of ML Soul of Detroit.
That's great.
You may remember this. This is cool. I got to take a left here. The connection in my hotel room is bad. Hey, there's a sandwich shop. Hold on. I think we had you in the room and in the parking lot one time.
There were different episodes, but yeah.
Yeah, I know we had a rolling travelogue.
And
We
then
also had you from
I was at a
from
gas
the
station right outside
motel
the
by
airport.
the airport.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I was at the gas station filling up the rental car, and then did the podcast.
That was where
I'm
you
so glad we could relive it.
That was exciting.
you
that
almost
was super
choked
exciting.
to death on a Zagnut bar that you got at the vending machine.
Zagnut. That's again your taste in pop culture.
Nothing like going out strong.
Or a Zero bar, perhaps.
Thank you. Save us, Kalina, please.
I don't know what to do anymore.
Look, I'm doing
sorry.
I'm doing the Kalina.
No,
I'm
there's
doing the
nothing I
Kalina.
can do to help you guys anymore.
Oh, that's a good one.
There's one guy that can help.
So there's
Come on, Mark.
Cyrus.
The day after.
Yeah, Cyrus. Where's Cyrus?
The day after Kalina gets back to campus, she'll be turning in her paper. What I did on my break, she's like, spend some time with 3 old dudes.
Where's
One
Cyrus?
who mispronounces my name.
Who's known me my whole life?
It doesn't know how to
Where's
pronounce my
Cyrus?
name.
I'm in some weird, creepy basement. I need help.
Just call him Elric.
Eric?
Yeah.
I've been called worse. Okay,
Yeah, by
so
Sean last week.
the campaign is almost over.
You
I will
just
not
won't
be
let
here.
that go, will you?
I enjoyed it.
He wants us to relive this,
second
and
of it.
relitigate
It
it.
was great.
Not the off-air
If you
stuff.
weren't here, it wouldn't have been as much fun. You know what I mean? Like
Not
if you,
the off-air
If you held the grudge and didn't come back, then it would bother me. But
Not the
bygones
off-
are bygones,
Not
right?
the off-air stuff.
None of it
was
bothered
fun.
me until Sean's bowels involuntarily released. Then I was like, okay, this went too far. And then he put it on a bag like Borat. He said, I bring this to you.
Where the fuck is Cyrus?
Going out strong.
Okay, so the campaign is almost over. Next Tuesday, I don't know who's going to be hosting the show. Have you guys talked about this at all?
No, not at all.
Have you thought about it at all?
I've thought about it a lot. Yeah, we'll be fine.
Any leaders in the clubhouse?
Don't worry
We'll
about
probably
it.
talk about something interesting.
Don't worry about who's manning the
For a
ship
change.
if you're gone.
Curious about that.
You listen to it when it posts.
Okay.
That's my way of saying no. I'm not sure yet.
Okay, that's
I don't have an answer for you.
that would have been quicker.
Dad.
The campaign is not over, but there is still time for you to get involved. Go to ml4detroit.com. You can still donate. Believe me, we can use your help. Or if you'd like to volunteer, check it out. Or if you want to know where our election night party is, we have we're going to be at a super cool bar in the neighborhood. And next door is a tea room and a healing center that we're going to have as our overflow. It is one of the coolest businesses on the east side. It's new. It's fun. It's mainly for women, and they do some waxing. And I said, if you guys have a dude's version of this coming up, I know some guys who could use some waxing. And I'm not going to take anybody out there, but Sean, I think we could probably get some sort of discount if we give them some free advertising
For the back of my arms?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So it's the Healing Girl Center at 17325 Mack Avenue. Give them a call. It's a great place, and if you come to our victory party, you can come and take a little tour. Get in touch with your feminine side. That's what they do on the Charlie LaDuff's No BS News Hour, and of course the Drew and Mike Show. That place just reeks of lavender every single day right here on the Red Shovel Network. And for me, last show as a candidate.
Yeah, good luck, man.
I
Pulling
cannot
for you.
wait to.
We're all pulling for you.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the show to be over either.
How can I lose? I would see you in 2 weeks from today. But tune in next week. I will, because I have no idea what these knuckleheads are going to do.
It'll be great.
Anyways, they'll have something.
It'll be great
this time.
It'll be fun.
And I'll be back on these airwaves on November 9th. Until then, I leave you in the good hands of the hands of my stumbling.
Oh my
Oh my God!
Spit it out.
Next week,
Kalina,
Mark.
say it,
How about this?
please.
Can I make you a promise next
Yes,
week?
what?
It won't take this long to wrap the show up.
Now he's going to do it on purpose.
Kalina, do you know how we end this show?
She's never made it this far through.
I don't think so.
No, why would
I've
she?
known you your whole life, and you don't know how we end this show.
No, do you know how I end my show?
Touche.
Say bitches, and then it's
Love
it.
it. I love
That's
it.
a great
I like that Kalina finally sat up in her chair an hour and a half in.
I know. I'm
Now
sorry.
you're criticizing
I'm
our
so
guest
tired.
posture.
No, I'm not criticizing.
John hates everything about
I'm
the show.
saying she's, awake now. It's
A
nice.
little bit. It's dark in here. I'm tired.
Well, it's boring too. So that's
I'm
a good
still a
comment.
college student. I still have papers and exams.
Carlos,
Oh.
Carlos, I never felt sorrier for you than I did today. But in the meantime, I'm going to tune to our good friend Cyrus, too, if he would be so kind. Take us out.
Can you dig that?
Can you dig it? Can you dig
This is Foxbell Hour, ladies and gentlemen. Out of character to assure you that the soul of Detroit has no further significance than as the holiday offering it was intended to be. His own radio version of dressing up in a sheet and jumping out of a bush and saying boo. Starting now, we couldn't soap all your windows and seal all your garden gates. By tomorrow night, so we did the best next thing. We annihilated the world before your very ears. You will be relieved, I hope, to learn that we didn't mean it, and that both institutions are still open for business. So goodbye, everybody, and remember, please, for the next day or so, the terrible lesson you learned tonight. That grinning, glowing, globular invader of your living room is John Windsor. If your doorbell rings and nobody's there, that was no Martian, it's Halloween.